All right, this is a suggestion via a channel member. The name of the video is Venezuelan migrants arrested for allegedly robbing a Texas woman at gunpoint. Allegedly. Okay, let's go ahead and see how alleged this actually is, guys. Let's check it out.
Texas police are reporting a surge in gang violence by illegal immigrants across the state. Dallas police charged 4 illegals with robbing a woman at gunpoint during a home invasion. San Antonio police arrested 20 people on drugs and human trafficking charges at an apartment complex. And some are confirmed members of the brutal gang, the Venezuelan gang, Tren de Aragua, TDA as they're known. Vice President Kamala Harris has flip-flopped on the White House's border policies, which allowed millions to come into this country illegally.
Guys, read this along with me here. Called the border wall a complete waste of taxpayer money, but now, right? But now, you're pledging hundreds of millions of dollars to the border wall. Listen, you should have done something about that in the first place. You should have vetted the people that were coming through instead of doing some like ridiculous catch and release thing. What you should have done was that. Right? You should have held the people in Mexico until they actually verified their asylum claim. Guys, economic migrancy is the leading cause of most of the individuals that have come through the border, and that in fact is not even a play for asylum, guys. It's just not.
Now she's promising hundreds of millions for Trump's border wall she once called a waste of money. Well, you know, she came from a state in California that benefited from a structure on the border. It's like she's got her memory back, or not. She wanted to decriminalize illegal crossing.
That's crazy.
And has walked that back now. Her campaign has backed off her previous calls to eliminate immigrations and customs enforcement, or ICE. Texas Congressman Pat Fallon.
Kamala Harris wants the American people to forget it was the Biden-Harris administration, but she wants you to forget about the hyphen and the Harris. And we can't do that. And they only even discuss the border, David, when it's election season. So it'll be 4 more years and it'll get tremendously worse.
Brooke Taylor is in Dallas with more on the gang crisis. Brooke.
Harris, this recent story out of Dallas is just frightening. This woman was pulling into her garage when she says that 4 men with guns followed her in. They held her at gunpoint, tied her up, threatened her while they ransacked her home. Check out these suspects here, now all arrested and charged with aggravated robbery. Records show all 4 are from Venezuela and have ICE holds. Police identified Manuel Hernandez through fingerprints because he already had a criminal history, including a DWI. Recently, he was stopped at a traffic light and arrested after not having a driver's license and registration. According to police, he was released just 1 day before the robbery. He eventually led police to the other 3 suspects, including the so-called ringleader of the group, Wilmer Gonzalez. When police arrested him, it turned into an 8-hour intense standoff at an apartment complex in Irving. I spoke to a lot of neighbors there who said that it was just so unsafe, especially for their young children who live in that community. Neighbors shared videos with me of armed SWAT teams entering his apartment. The 4 Venezuelan migrants are accused of following that woman into her upscale Briarwood neighborhood home in Dallas. Police say they tied her up, they hit her with a gun, threatened her, and stole thousands of dollars in jewelry and money.
Bro,
we welcome people who are not, who come here legally, but people who are not here illegal or are not coming in legally, we have to wonder about why they were able to get here in the first place, and this far north.
And it's not even just that statement that she made here. A lot of it is like, look, the people that are coming here legally, like through legal pathways, no problem with that at all, right? But why is it that you are refusing to go through legal pathways? I think that's pretty much the main concern I have whenever this overall topic comes up. Like, why are you choosing to just do things the illegal way and not the completely legal way? Specifically, if you are like the first experience you're having in the United States of America is breaking the law, I don't think you should be here, right? That's just a reality.
To me, it is the most important issue, perhaps even ahead of the economy.
And the issue not just here, but in San Antonio, a police raid
the
involving
economy is more
multiple
important.
agencies ended up with the arrest of 16 people
And
who
then
have
this.
ICE holds and 4 confirmed TDA members. Harris.
Brooke, thank you very much. I want to bring in Republican Congressman Chip Roy from the great state of Texas now. You are up against it with these gangs. How do you fight this?
Well, Harris, thanks for having me on, and thanks for shining the light on this important issue, because it's really important for the people of our country and the migrants who are being abused at the hands of the Biden-Harris administration. My friend Pat Fallon is right. That hyphen exists. Kamala Harris is a part of this administration. She was dubbed the border czar. What we have in Texas right now are people getting hurt. You just went through the story in Irving. You alluded to the story in San Antonio this weekend. There were 20 people arrested in an apartment complex with a joint operation of law enforcement, local law enforcement, and ICE and Border Patrol. And 4 of those members were tied to the Tren de Aragua gang, TDA, from Venezuela. You have a situation in El Paso, right, where we just had stories coming out where you have migrants who were being forcibly put into effectively forced prostitution rings to pay off the debts for people coming into our country, again, affiliated with TDA. You might remember about a month ago, I flew to Colorado. I went and visited at the site where the apartment complex was in fact taken over by TDA. Now, what's the consistent thread here? This is all a direct result of Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, and Mayorkas's policies. They have been releasing Venezuelans under a program that you're well acquainted with, that Bill Malugin has been reporting about, right?
Right.
Where they release Venezuelans.
Specifically
they release
Venezuelans.
Cubans, they release Haitians, they release Nicaraguans, and they released 117,000 Venezuelans. We now know tens of thousands of them are criminals with backgrounds that show crime, murder. Now, here's the real exclamation point. You know Jocelyn Nungare, that beautiful 12-year-old girl who was murdered in Houston, Texas. She was murdered by somebody that we can now confirm, 2 individuals, one of whom are confirmed to have been a part of TDA. Her mom, Alexis, is a beautiful 27-year-old woman. And Colin...
Bro, their beauty has nothing to do with this conversation.
Allred comes on and attacks Ted Cruz for politicizing this because Alexis joined Ted and President Trump to speak out about it. Shame on Colin. Shame on him. We need to make sure we send Ted Cruz back to the Senate. Shame on Kamala Harris for being MIA and going up and doing interviews with The View and going on Stephen Colbert while people are hurting in the southern part of our country from hurricanes and because of what they've done on our borders. And now we've got gangs in my district in San Antonio that are harming them, endangering them. We've got to fight back on November 5th and generally to take our state and our country back.
Yeah, listen, I mean, Kamala Harris seems like, at least, outside looking in, the fact that she doesn't really give interviews, that's really important to me personally. We can never really know exactly who she is, but the interviews that she keeps taking is... I think that screams very loudly, at least her overall character, right? I do not think she's like just a good person. I'm not trying to say the president should be a good person. I mean, I wish that was the metric, but I don't think that really is a thing, right? But I just don't like her, bro. Right? I don't like how she's always in the wrong place at the wrong time, if that makes any sense. Like, yeah, like multiple hurricanes have hit the southern states, and where is she? Where is she? Right? Like, she should be rushing down there to speak to the people. If you want to be running things, like, we need you with the people, if that's the case. But instead, you seem to always be with celebrities, right? I mean, take care of your donors, I guess, right? Forget the people. But this is one of the reasons why I don't really have any interest in her being president, bro. Like, that specific reason. Every single time something happens, she's in the wrong place. Right? It's weird.
Real quickly, why can't we just deport TDA? Why hasn't that happened?
Well, we need to do that, and that's obviously what President Trump is rightly campaigning on, is having mass deportations of these criminals. It's not just TDA. There are rampant criminals. I was in upstate New York campaigning for my friend Mark Molinaro, talking about someone in his district who was from Peru, who was released, who had 23 murders in his background. You know what will happen? November 5th, we have to get the right people in the White House, President Trump, the right people in the House, the right people in the Senate. And if we do that, then we need to do our job in mass deportations to make sure we can protect our country.
I appreciate your time. Thank you so very much. We had a lot of breaking news. We'll bring you back.
Yeah, listen, it is incredibly important to get specifically the criminal element out of the United States of America, okay? Like, we already have our crime. The last thing we needed, the literal last thing we needed, were people to commit crime from other places here differently, if that makes any sense, right? Like, you're starting to see all these times where, like, literal gangs in the United States of America are like, oh no, they're doing crime but differently. Right? The last thing we need is a new chapter in crime. All right, we don't need that, bro. The last thing we need, and we need to work on our crime also. But either way, listen, guys, let me know in the comments what you guys think, and if you do like this type of content, go ahead and let me know in the comments what you guys think. Right? Either way, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. Guys, before we go, are you guys subscribed to the other channels? Logical Movie Reviews with Mr. L. Boyd, along with Mr. L. Boyd Music. Both are found in the description. Check it out.